Question. I feel that my magazine can be linked to a number of theories relating to youth, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, class and regional identity, representation and stereotyping. I feel that most of my media language is geared around representing youth. A key youth theory that I feel my magazine both disrupts and supports is Stanley Hall's 1904 theory, where he argued youth must have excitement, and if this is not at hand in the form of moral intellectual enthusiasms, it is more prone to be sought in sex or drink. I feel that this theory is supported because my magazine is based on music festivals and concerts where stereotypically youth seek excitement through alcohol, drugs and sex. I do however feel that my magazine challenges this slightly because there are no actual images of youth drinking, taking drugs or having sex. Regarding sexuality, in 1998, Andy Medhurst argued that sexuality is invincible, but media is often guilty of portraying gay men as screaming queens and lesbians as butch dykes. I feel confident that I have not entered into this negative stereotyping the media is often guilty of because I have not portrayed any gay people in the negative way described by Medhurst. However, I do not know if I have done enough to represent gay and bisexual people in my secondary target audience because I did not actively seek gay and lesbian bands / artists to write about or photograph, but this does go with what Medhurst says about sexuality being invisible, which means it could be argued my product is not discriminating. Another thing I avoided doing was using women negatively as erotic objects of desire for the spectator, because as Mulvey pointed out when she wrote this theory, this is sexist and I do not want to objectify women to make a profit, and did not want to alienate female readers from my magazine. Looking at my magazine now, it is complete, and I do think that I should have used an image of a female artist or female band to make the coverage more balanced to represent women positively. But in fairness, I only made 3 pages and I wanted to focus on my cover story band, which just happened, because that was the gig I bought tickets for to contain male artists. In 1998, Malik stated, "We often find it easier to blame focus on the stereotypes than appropriate blame on those who control them. The way we use stereotypes in cultural production is as revealing as which stereotypes we choose to represent. Stereotypes in themselves are not necessarily offensive or harmful, but the interest they can serve and the context in which they're used can be. I feel that as my magazine features no black people or from other ethnic minorities, my magazine goes both for and against Malik's theory. It supports it because there are no races apart from white showing given weight to the arguments that the music industry, including alternative rock, is racist because it does not show a diverse range of ethnicities excelling in the industry, but disrupts it because I have not shown any ethnicity in a negative light. Ideally, I would have liked to be able to feature some artists of different races on my content page to represent people in my secondary target audience, but due to the lack of diversity in the genre, I did not have any images I could use. Regional and national identity representation link closely with ethnicity in the case of my magazine, because I have not shown that the magazine is British through my choice of images, lexis, colour palette and layout. In 1989, Higson talks about the 2 ways about how the process of constructing regional identity should be understood. He states that the first involves an inward-looking process, defining the nation in terms of its own cultural history. The second is a more outward-looking process, which defining the nation in terms of its difference from others. The reason why I think my products fit this story is because the media language follows British conventions. Because if you look at music magazines from, say, for example, the USA and Germany, the colour, lexis, image style and layout would all appear different, and readers from the UK would not identify with it so quickly because the media language would not follow conventions they were used to. When it comes to class, Marxists state that the class, which is the means of material production at its disposal, has control at the same time over the means of mental production, so that thereby, generally speaking, the ideas of those who lack the means of mental production are subject to it. And that this is probably true of my magazine because I am middle class and I'm a producer, therefore I'm putting my values subconsciously into the publication as I try to represent people in the social grades C1 to E through mise en scène and Lex's choices.